What if I told you that you are the author of your own biological story? Seriously, that your consciousness, your thoughts, your feelings, your beliefs, has way more control over your physical body than we've ever been led to believe. Okay, let's dive right into this because we're about to explore a pretty radical shift in how we understand healing itself. It's a huge question, right? And it really sits at the very heart of what we're talking about today. We always separate the mind from the body. We treat one with therapy and the other with medicine, like they're two different worlds. But what if that separation is just an illusion? What if your mind is actually the most powerful pharmacy you have? To really see how profound this is, let's look at a real-world case. It's the story of a woman named Chitra. Now, Chitra was diagnosed with terminal breast cancer, and it had already spread. She'd gone through the entire arsenal of modern medicine, everything they could throw at it, but her doctors had basically hit a dead end. From a conventional standpoint, her situation, well, it was hopeless. And then something impossible happened. Her husband called the doctor totally overjoyed with this news. Her cancer was just gone, vanished. X-rays confirmed it. The oncologists were completely baffled. At first, they thought they had the wrong patient's scans. It was, by all accounts, a miraculous cure. But how? Really, how does something like that even happen? Well, to understand a miracle, we first have to understand the map that science was using. And it was a map that had absolutely no room for miracles. For centuries, this map defined the human body in a very, very specific way. So the dominant view in medicine for a long, long time was that the body is essentially a machine. When it broke down, it just meant a physical part was faulty. Think about it like this. An arthritic joint was seen as being no different than a tire with worn-out tread. It was a really powerful way of seeing ourselves, for sure, but also very limited. This whole machine model was basically built on two core beliefs. First up was materialism. That's the idea that only physical stuff is real. If you can't see it, touch it, or measure it, it doesn't really exist. And the second was reductionism. This is the belief that you can understand any complex system, including a person, by just taking it apart and studying all the little pieces. But here's the thing. This worldview left out some huge pieces of the puzzle. Materialism couldn't explain the mind at all. A thought isn't physical, right? So how in the world can it make your arm move? And reductionism, by breaking everything down into tiny bits, completely missed the big picture. That incredible, holistic intelligence that allows trillions of cells to work together to create a living, breathing you. So how did this old model start to change? Well, the first big crack in the wall of the machine model came from a truly groundbreaking discovery. A set of molecules that literally formed a bridge between the invisible world of the mind and the physical world of the body. They're called neuropeptides, and you can think of them as the chemical language of your consciousness. So when you feel joy, your brain doesn't just have some abstract feeling, it actually creates specific joy molecules. When you feel fear, it creates fear molecules. These little neuropeptides are like messengers that race from your brain to every single corner of your body, translating every thought and feeling into a physical reality. Now, this part is absolutely crucial. To think is to literally practice chemistry. A thought isn't just some abstract thing happening in your head. No way. It's a signal that creates a real chemical cascade throughout your entire body. The thought and the molecule it creates, they aren't separate. They're two sides of the very same coin. Okay, so the process follows this really clear four-step pathway. It all starts when you have an emotion, let's say anxiety. Your brain instantly cooks up the right neuropeptides for that feeling. Then, receptors on cells all over your body, we're talking heart cells, immune cells, gut cells, they all pick up this message. And boom, your body's biology changes. Your heart rate might speed up, your digestion might slow down. Just like that, a thought becomes a physical reality. But here's where it gets even more wild. Scientists started finding these messenger molecules and their receptors everywhere, not just connected to the brain. Your stomach, your kidneys, your immune system, they can all produce and receive the exact same thinking molecules. It means, in a very real sense, your entire body is a conscious thinking network. And this, of course, leads us to an even deeper question. We know a thought can create a molecule, okay, but where do the thought and the molecule come from in the first place? To answer that, we have to take a quantum leap. This quote just perfectly captures the complete 180 of the old way of thinking. We used to believe we were just physical machines that somehow miraculously learned to think.
The new view suggests the total opposite. We are consciousness that has learned how to build and organize matter into a physical body.
This transformation, this incredible jump from a non-physical thought into a physical molecule, is what we can call a quantum event. It's that magic moment where the invisible world shapes the visible one. It's the fundamental process that makes this whole mind-over-matter thing possible. So get this. A thought of fear and the molecule of adrenaline it triggers aren't really two separate things at all. They're just different expressions popping out of the same underlying source, what quantum physics might call a field of pure potential. Think of it like a cloud of steam that can condense into any shape of water droplet it wants. This field is the source from which both the invisible thought and the physical particle emerge. All right, so what does all of this mean for you right now in your life? Well, it means every single cell in your body is eavesdropping on your thoughts. It means you are not just living in your body, you are actively creating it moment by moment. And look, this isn't just a nice theory. This is where the science of epigenetics comes in, and it's a total game changer. It completely overturns that old depressing idea of genetic determinism, the belief that we're all just victims of our heredity. The science is clear that chronic negative input, stress, fear, anger, can literally tell your genes to express themselves in ways that lead to disease. Your thoughts are constantly sending instructions to your cells, telling them what to do. So let's just throw out that old map of the body as a static machine. It's not a car you drive around until it breaks down. Your body is a dynamic, slowing river of intelligence, and your consciousness is the source that feeds that river. It is constantly regenerating and renewing itself based on the signals you give it. This right here is the crucial takeaway. Your current body is in so many ways a physical printout of your past thoughts and beliefs. And the thoughts you are having right now, the feelings of joy and gratitude and love, just as much as fear or stress, are literally programming the body you're going to have tomorrow. This puts the power and the responsibility for your well-being squarely back in your hands. Which leaves us with one final, pretty powerful question to think about. If every single one of your cells is listening, and your body is a perfect mirror of your inner world, what story are you telling it? What biological reality are you choosing to create?